have been traveling to cocoa origins for a long time, and I've visited the first cocoa farm that I saw back in 1983. Cocoa is grown in numerous countries. Probably well over 30 different countries grow various amounts of cocoa. West Africa itself is the largest supplier of cocoa. Then you get into Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, the two largest producers of cocoa. Cote d'Ivoire produces well over 1 million tons of cocoa, and Ghana produces over 700,000 tons of cocoa per year. Together they produce over 2/3 of the world's cocoa. But even more important than that, within those countries, cocoa plays a major role in the economy. It is the highest employer of people within both countries, and it is the largest agricultural export for each of those countries. I work for Mars Incorporated. I'm the Director of Global Programs, which is a set of programs involved in developing sustainability of cocoa growing. I have also worked as a representative of what we call the Global Issues Group. This is a group of North American and European chocolate companies, their international affiliates, as well as the trade associations that the companies belong to. And the Global Issues Group has been the key group involved with implementing the protocol, which calls for certification. And then as part of that certification, there is a verification step. What we have been faced with is trying to determine and communicate the farming practices that are taking place on well over 1.5 million different cocoa farms. Right now, and I think it's logical that this is part of the process, the data has to be collected from government or institutions within the countries that are very involved in the cocoa industry itself. With respect to the credibility of the information, we have received questions on this really since the time that industry signed the protocol. The role of the verification board is to give that information absolute credibility. So by getting third parties that we have, which is FAFO AIS from Norway and Kulisa Management Systems from South Africa, working on the verification, they will bring this credibility, so when people look at this information and see that it's been verified, they will have trust that this really is a clear description and an honest description of the situation in the cocoa sector. My response to the question of how does the ICVB lead to improvements in these communities is really about the importance of information. Policy questions, the governments of these two countries cannot define programs without truly understanding what the needs are in the rural sector. When you get into the issue of education and wanting to see children in school, we know there is a lack of infrastructure throughout the rural sectors in both Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. So there is a need for more schools, better schools, more impactful curriculum. If we have information that says a certain percentage of communities need more teachers, we can say that with absolute confidence that those numbers are valid. And I think that will give confidence then to government officials or donor bodies, external governments who want to assist, the confidence that they can come in and support programs to do that. Funding of the ICVB has been a challenge really from the beginning. We know that there has been a desire for the verifiers themselves to be objective and independent. But that has proven to be a very difficult matter given the cost and the expense of doing the verification. What we have determined is, in terms of funding, the industry, the Global Issues Group, has pooled our funds and are totally funding the International Cocoa Verification Board. The total cost in 2008 will be just about $2 million. As an industry representative, I've often been asked, why is this taking so long? My answer for some people will sound very trite, and that it is, this is a very complex issue. But the fact is, these sectors, the cocoa producing sectors of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, are massive in scope. We're breaking new ground. In the experience over the last 7 years, we've found that there isn't a sector, a rural sector, agricultural sector of this size that is really being monitored for labor practices. So we have really started with no blueprint and have had to develop things as we go. In order to tackle a job that truly is this immense, it has taken an approach that involves partners, and it has also involved creating the political will. It's also involved creating capacity that just was never there to do this kind of work. I think we have built a very good foundation. We now have in both countries national plans of action that are meant to address this. I think there is a critical mass of people now in both countries that understand the concerns that we have and have started to understand that it is in everyone's best interest to tackle these issues. It has taken time, it will take more time, but I think it's the only way having that long-term commitment is the only way we're going to get there.